So you're thinking about becoming an HVAC technician. Maybe you've heard it's one of the best trades in Australia. Good money, plenty of work, job security, and a skill that's always going to be in demand. And honestly, a lot of that is true. I've been a qualified refrigeration and air conditioning mechanic here in Victoria for the last 4 years, and I genuinely enjoy what I do. But there are a lot of things nobody tells you before you get into this trade. Nobody tells you what your first summer is really like. Nobody tells you how much of the job is actually solving puzzles instead of fixing air conditioners. And nobody tells you that some days you'll spend 4 hours chasing a fault only to realize it was something ridiculously simple. So if you're thinking about becoming an HVAC technician, or you're already an apprentice wondering if everyone else feels just as confused as you do, this video's for you. These are the things nobody warned me about before I got into HVAC. 1, you don't get paid to fix things. You get paid to find the problem. When I first started my apprenticeship, I honestly thought most of my day would be replacing parts. Bad compressor? Replace it. Capacitor blown? Swap it out. Gas leak? Repair it and recharge the system. Simple, but after a few years, you realize that's not what separates a good technician from an average one. The real skill is diagnosis. You're basically a detective. A customer rings and says, the air conditioner isn't cooling. Okay, why? Is it low on refrigerant? Is the indoor fan not moving enough air? Is the outdoor unit short cycling? Is the expansion valve sticking? Has the controller been programmed incorrectly? Or did another technician accidentally create the problem years ago? Sometimes the customer gives you the completely wrong information. I think the compressor's dead. No, it just wasn't switched on. You'll quickly realize customers diagnose symptoms, you diagnose causes. And that's why experience matters so much in this trade. Anyone can replace a part. Not everyone can work out which part actually needs replacing. 2, summer isn't fun, it's survival. People hear you work on air conditioners and automatically assume you're nice and cool all day. I wish. The reality couldn't be further from the truth. When everyone else is sitting inside enjoying 22-degree air conditioning, you're usually outside in 40-degree heat, or even worse, inside a roof space. If you've never been inside a roof cavity during an Australian summer, imagine standing inside an oven while wearing long sleeves, work pants, boots, safety glasses, and carrying 15 kilos of tools. You're sweating before you've even opened the manhole. Every movement feels harder. Metal roofs radiate heat like crazy. Sometimes you'll come out after 20 minutes and feel absolutely cooked. And that's before you've actually started repairing the unit. Nobody tells apprentices how physically demanding those first summers can be. You need to stay hydrated. You need to know your limits, because heat exhaustion is a real thing in this trade. 3, customers don't call you because they're having a good day. This is something I never really thought about before I started. Nobody calls an HVAC technician because everything's working perfectly. Think about it. When someone calls you, their air conditioning has failed during a heat wave. Their restaurant cool room is warming up. Their freezer isn't holding temperature. Their office has no cooling. Their heater stopped working on the coldest morning of winter. By the time you arrive, they're already stressed, sometimes angry, sometimes frustrated, and honestly, that's understandable. They're not angry at you, they're angry at the situation. One of the biggest skills I've learned over the last 4 years isn't technical, it's communication. If you walk in confidently, listen to the customer, explain what you're doing, keep them updated, they're far more likely to trust you. Customers don't remember every repair. They remember how you made them feel. 4, you never stop learning. I honestly thought once I finished my apprenticeship, that was it. Qualified, done. Turns out, that's when the real learning starts. Every manufacturer is different. Different controllers, different wiring, different software, different fault codes. 1 week, you're working on a basic split system. The next you're on a VRF system you've never seen before. Then it's a cool room controller, then a supermarket refrigeration rack, then a ducted package unit, then a chiller. There is no point in your career where you know everything. In fact, the best technicians I know are usually the first ones to admit they don't know something. They'll ring technical support, call another technician, read manuals, research fault codes, because that's how you become better. The moment you think you know everything, you've stopped improving. 5, you'll start obsessing over tools. When I started, I had the basics, screwdrivers, pliers, adjustables, a cheap multimeter. That didn't last very long. Before you know it, you've bought digital gauges, a better multimeter, clamp meter, leak detector, vacuum pump, recovery machine, torque wrench, impact driver, battery grinder, specialty refrigeration tools, and somehow every few months there's another tool you suddenly need. You'll even start justifying purchases to yourself. I don't need this, but it'll save me 30 seconds every job. Next thing you know, you've spent another $500. Ask any experienced HVAC technician. We all love tools, probably more than we should. Final thoughts. So, what does nobody tell you about becoming an HVAC technician? Nobody tells you that you're really becoming a professional problem solver. Nobody tells you how physically demanding the work can be. Nobody tells you how important communication is. Nobody tells you that even experienced technicians still ask for help. Nobody tells you that you'll probably spend thousands of dollars on tools. Nobody tells you how satisfying it feels when you've spent hours chasing a fault, finally find the problem, fix it, and watch a dead system come back to life. That's honestly one of the best feelings in this trade. After 4 years working in HVAC here in Victoria, I can honestly say it's been one of the most challenging careers I've had, but also one of the most rewarding. Every day is different. Every job teaches you something new. And even after 4 years, I still come across equipment or faults that make me stop and think. That's what keeps the job interesting. If you're thinking about getting into HVAC, don't let this video scare you. The trade needs good people. If you enjoy solving problems, working with your hands, and learning something new every day, there's a good chance you'll love it. And if you're already in the trade, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing nobody warned you about before becoming an HVAC technician? Leave it in the comments, because I'd be interested to see if your experience has been the same as mine. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content about working in HVAC here in Australia, from apprenticeships and tools to fault finding, commercial work, and what the industry's really like, I've got plenty more videos on the way. Comment what you want to hear about next. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you in the next one.